your body can convert and it can make the B complex. So if you don't do that, hey, well, whatever it costs, just keep buying them.
Right.
You can get rid of that cost of that by taking care of the gut. So we've got the stomach that's the life force. We've got the bowel that small intestine pulls the majority of those nutrients out. Large intestine, is still making and converting and synthesizing things, other nutrients to be absorbed into the system. The good bacteria being 70% of our immune system. I've told people over the years that when they're working with people, if you have somebody that comes to you and they really can't afford very much, you take care of their stomach and the whole digestive tract. You take care of that. Take care of the stomach, the enzymes and whatever they need. Talk with them about foods that they need, to balance and strengthen the digestive tract. The large intestines, you make sure that they're eliminating. Make sure that when they're not dealing with, they're not dealing with a lot of the bowel conditions. Address those as needed. If they have colitis, if they have irritable bowel disease, take care of the bowel. When you take care of that, and you see them again in 3 months. A lot of those other things that they didn't have the money to get a few more things to take care of an organ area that was bothering them. A real amazing thing happens in that 3 months. If they walk out that door and they have heeded to everything that you told them, they will come back in 3 months and go, hey, you know what? Those other things that were bothering me, they don't bother me anymore. And that's because the root of everything, the central location of everything in the body that's going to make everything work and your health be the best that it can be, is the condition of your digestion and your elimination. And by addressing those issues even first, you'll take care of some of the aches and the pains. And, hey, people 4 or 5 days into juicing cannot look you in the eye and tell you that they do not feel noticeably better. And it's usually the first thing out of their mouth.
So then
they can't believe how good they feel.
Would it be kind of... Okay, so if you have them do like an enviro detox first and then go on with...
Well, and you always have to, because of... Look at how intricate. Look at the involvement. Look at everything from the senses and the thalamus gland and the medulla, the main switchboard area, the brain, the tongue, the taste buds, all the receptors, the esophagus, the stomach, the 4 different areas of the stomach and what their part is at. The small intestine, all that it does. The large intestine. Look at what an amazing system.
Right.
An amazing system that is, and understanding what each area, what its part is. Hopefully by sometimes understanding all of that, you kind of think twice about what you want to send down to it.
Right. Oh, I got to tell you, man. I mean, it's
and
amazing
it's
when I just
being
sit
able
here.
to understand what all that it does.
I mean, because guys, you really need to go back and listen to some of her Kim Mateo's past shows on Kingdom of Healing, because I'm telling you, the stuff I'm learning, just I know I might not seem too attentive, but I'm telling you, I'm learning a lot.
Well, and then the other thing too is with the valves and the different areas that slow the food down. That's when people are sick and everything is coming out of them just lightning fast, and they're eliminating, and everything is water that's eliminating from their body with chronic watery diarrhea, and the transit time is so fast. It's just so fast because of whatever's going on in the system, whatever you've been exposed to. You don't absorb. You don't have a chance to absorb enough nutrients Okay.
So they do need those probiotics. And
they
that.
do, and you do need things to slow that digestion down. That's where that slippery elm comes in. Slippery elm or psyllium. And slippery elm. Psyllium, there's no nutrients in psyllium. Psyllium husks is the outer husk of the seed, of the psyllium seed. It's just pure fiber. There's no nutrients to it. And it is really important where you get your psyllium from, because a lot of it comes from India. And so you really want a company that does quality control testing on it to make sure there's not like high levels of lead and other things like that is very customary to be found in a lot of them that are on the shelf. And so that's why really, the only, when it comes to an herbal line, I know there's a lot of products out there, and there's some good products out there, but, why waste your money? There's no reason to waste your money. I mean, the quality control, the over 600 products, the company that's associated that kingdomofhealing.com is hooked up to. I mean, you can always guarantee that is the purest of the pure. It's tested so intensely at any level. It's disregarded. Its whole barrel is rejected. So their quality control is intense, and millions of dollars has been spent on that quality control equipment. And they hire scientists. They hire people that absolutely know what's going on. So that is outstanding product, and you don't have to take a product and go, geez, I hope this is a good company. I hope this product works. And with the stuff, I'm just here to tell you, it's
well, I gotta
products
tell
are
you,
always outstanding.
For one of my patients, it's working wonderful. He's coming in with a smile on his face now. He's actually got a lot of energy again.
Cool.
He's looking like the old Ray that we used to know.
Excellent.
And he'll be he's gonna be writing us a review.
Oh, okay.
But it's just nice to see that smile back on your face again, And
well, that's what happens with nutrition. That's what happens when the cell says, as it's absorbed through that whole lymph system and vascular capillary system and to the cell that comes through the small intestine, and it's called nutrition. And the cell finally says, yes, yes, thank you. Thank you, I can work now. Now I can do what I was supposed to do. So there is a difference, absolutely. And the other thing, is with the large intestine then comes, a healthy stool. It should be brown, and that's a result of the bile pigments that are released through the liver and the gallbladder. And so, if it's light and chalky colored or it's gray, immediately that there's a problem with digestion or with elimination. If they're, light gray, that's also a sign of some gallbladder problems. The bilirubin. It's a sign that the gallbladder, if you have your gallbladder, it's a sign that the gallbladder could be clogged. There could be gallstones. The stool is real light. And the reason that it's light is that bile that's being released from the gallbladder to go down into the liver is not releasing all that old blood and everything that it should be into that bowel movement. And so immediately that there can be a problem with the gallbladder. And that's best thing to take care of that is, I talked about that I think last week on the show, is the, there's a gallbladder formula, 2 to 4 to 6 of those, 2 or 3 times a day, 2 or 3 hydrangeas, 2 or 3 times a day, mild food diet, you're juicing, adding, drinking apple juice with the squeeze of a half a lemon in that. You do that for 4 or 5 days, 6 days. You're not hungry. You're just not hungry. You're juicing. You're eating mild foods, maybe salads. No breads, no root vegetables, no proteins, no animal protein, to, during that time, to sluggish up and clog up the system when that's going on. You want a mild food diet, juicing, do the unfiltered apple juice, lemon, and then on that fifth, sixth day, add a fourth cup of olive oil to a half a cup of unfiltered apple juice, and drink that before you go to bed. And I promise you, you're going to wake up in the wee hours of the morning with an urgency to go to the bathroom. And it's going to shock you. All of the various size of, looks like jade green marbles that you pass.
Wow.
And that malic acid that's found in apples is what softens those stones if they're cholesterol stones. But that hydrangea you want in there so that in the event that those could be calcium stones, you want that hydrangea in there, because that hydrangea will break down and dissolve down those calcium deposit stones. And hydrangea will work on calcium bone spurs and calcium deposits, and you even have calcium deposits in the breast tissue.
The hydrangea comes
hydrangea
out of the,
will break that down.
Out of the olive oil, right?
No, hydrangea is that's an herb.
Oh, I'm
it's
sorry.
It's a supplement that you can buy, the hydrangea. And
because you went from the
apple cider vinegar. Apple juice, unfiltered apple juice, half a squeeze of lemon on the 5th, 6th, or 7th day or whatever. Pour into a half a cup of unfiltered apple juice, about a quarter of a cup of olive oil.
Right. Okay. So I hadn't realized we moved on from that part there. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was just saying that the hydrangea, the malic acid found present in the unfiltered apple juice, that softens cholesterol stones so that they'll pass.
Okay.
Okay.
And
they
then
soften them so that they're like little jello, and they slip on through down that bile duct, that common bile duct. Because if you look at the bile ducts, just like look at think of a tree with 3 big branches on it. Well, one branch is the gallbladder, the next branch is the liver, and that other branch in the back is the pancreas. And those the bile from the gallbladder, the enzymes that the pancreas releases, and then of course the enzymes and everything with the master mixer center, the liver, which is our largest organ, internal organ, and that comes down. They all release all of that into those common bile ducts, and then that moves down the trunk, makes its way into the small intestine. And then that's where all those other enzymes are there in the small intestine for all the little villi to be able to pull those nutrients out of the chyme that's there in the small intestine. So that's where, the cell says, happy, happy, thank you. I'm glad you finally decided to feed me something. So, okay, so gallbladder formula, that helps to flush and clean out that gallbladder. And, once you kind of go through a gallbladder flush like that, you'll notice that those stools that were gray or really, really light go back to being brown. So that's when okay, everything's back working a little better. Now, if you don't do the hydrangea, and you possibly had a gallstone made from calcium, and you dislodge all of that with the unfiltered apple juice with the high malic acid, yeah, you're going to have a trip to the emergency room. And you might end up with an emergency gallbladder removal.
Oh, shit.
That's why, you know what? It's $6-7. I don't know, $6-7, $8 maybe.
For the hydrangea.
For the hydrangea. Toss it in.
I think that's a worthwhile
be on the
investment.
safe side. Because I don't care what your deductible is. It's not $8.
Right.